Driver of the vehicle that was traveling westbound tells our investigators that he saw the truck, the other vehicle, swerving into his lane, almost running into him. He gets off of the road and then turns back around to get the tag number of the vehicle that was driving erratically. This is where it becomes a little unclear at this point. When he turns around to get the tag number, the victim right now of the shooting pulls off, and then what we're getting is he exits the vehicle with a gun toward the other driver. He's in fear for his life. He has a gun in his vehicle as well. He fires at the other driver, and unfortunately he is deceased. So very early in this investigation, still trying to get all the facts. Way too early to conclude anything at this point.
So is he cooperating with your investigation?
Yes, he actually, after he fired the shots, he pulled off the roadway. He called 911 immediately. He let 911 dispatchers know that he had just shot someone in a road rage incident. He is currently with our detectives being interviewed.
So is the driver of the truck the guy that I guess swerved into the guy's lane? Or?
Yeah, you basically have two trucks involved in this. So the truck that was heading eastbound on Buckeye Road was swerving across the center line and into the path of the vehicle that was going westbound.
Is the vehicle that was swerving, is that the gentleman that, or is it?
That's the gentleman that was shot.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then the person in this truck over here, who is that? Is that the
the
suspect?
That's the shooter.
Okay.
That's right. So he stayed with the vehicle, called 911, and has been cooperating with the detectives.
Are you saying any names at this point?
Not at this point. We still have next of kin information that we have to work on. We're trying to find a next of kin as we speak, and we're waiting to process the scene before we release any names.
So I guess you said it gets a little hairy. Can you talk more about where it gets confusing?
Well, right now we don't have all the facts. So once we are able to listen to what the shooter has to say, the investigators are doing that now. Once we get all that information, then we can pinpoint at what point was he in fear. We're hearing stories that the driver, the victim of the other vehicle, exited his vehicle with the gun. But once again, it's way too early for us to conclude that's what happened. So we just want to make sure we have all the facts clear before we state anything else.
From looking at the scene here, were you able to verify that the victim indeed had a gun on him when he was shot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So we know that both the subjects had guns.
Do we know if they had a carry-on license?
We do not know that. Too early to tell. We'll working on that now. We'll let you know.
I guess kind of where do you go from here?
Right now it's just interviewing the other driver, making sure that his story adds up, and that all the facts that we find during this investigation add up to what he's telling us, and that's what they're trying to do right now.
Were they alone?
Yes, both drivers were alone in their vehicles, and so really it's the driver of the other vehicle that's given us all the information, and the only one at this point that has any information to give.
And were there any witnesses in the area that may have seen this to talk to?
None at all. This is a very rural roadway, as you can tell. Not a lot of traffic out here. No one that was around during the shooting. So right now, that's why it's very important that we get all the information from the other driver and then allow the detectives to work the scene.
Sure. What's the challenge with this investigation?
The challenge is that you have to make sure that the evidence meets the statement being given by the other driver, and since we have no witnesses, that's really the only statement we have at this point. And we just want to make sure that what he's telling us is accurate. Not saying that it's not, but we just have to verify everything that he's telling us matches up to the evidence at the scene.
And that's my last question, really. I don't know if you have any more questions, but I guess kind of go through this again because it's confusing, and I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the guy in the victim's vehicle is
the victim is swerving. He's heading eastbound on Buckeye. Okay. He's swerving out of his lane and into the westbound lane. The driver, the shooter, who sees this is alarmed. He wants to get out of his way because he believes he's going to get head on. All right, so once he passes the other vehicle, he turns back around because he wants to get the tag number so he can report it to authorities. When he does that, from what we're being told, the other driver pulls off and comes out of the truck toward the other driver with a gun. At that point, the shooter takes his gun and fires 2 shots as the victim is walking toward the vehicle.
And it's safe to call this a road rage incident?
I think you can call it a road rage. You can call it right now, according to the victim, a self-defense case, and that's what we really have to figure out. Is it a true self-defense case? Is this stand your ground? And
Sure.
So, a lot to be done. A lot more to be done.
Lastly, at this time, can you reveal the types of guns used?
No, we can't. We're not going to give any of that information until we get a little bit further along in the investigation. So once again, we've got to make sure that everything matches up properly, and what we find at the scene is consistent with the guns that were used.
Was the shooter